Hi, good afternoon. It's Dean from maverickstar Observatory. I wanted to say thank you to a few people yesterday that understood where I was coming from, and decided to step up to that line and help what we're doing here. I know that we've got a small portion of people on YouTube that actually understand and want to support, don't want to see the observatory end doing what we're doing here. And I think they also appreciate, just as much as I do, how much effort and time we've invested into this over the years. And I think that they are, like myself, a little bit worried that the end could be very close. If the support stops. Just to give you a few, for instance, is what we've done here at the observatory over the last couple of years is quite immense. I can't show you over in the background here because we've got the green screen running. We've got our new studio lights kicking in now, so I'm hoping that the visual quality will improve, but also more so next week when we get the 4K camera, it will improve. And the reason why I'm doing all this extra effort is to try and get the awareness of the pole shift out to more people. I realise that in order for people to listen to you, you have to be listenable to start with, and that's why we've upped our game a little bit. It's been a little bit daunting over the last couple of weeks because learning something completely new from scratch, especially at my age, 47, it's not easy, and as you can see, it's starting to toll on me a little bit. These late nights sitting at the computer trying to work out how to mix all these things. It's like learning a new skill. The broadcasting software, I know some of you that have been working with it grasp it. It's easy, and but for me this is all a big learning curve. Getting the lighting right, and on top of all that, running the observatory and also keeping people informed. And also we've took on a lot. I've probably took on more than what I should have done, and that's just detriment to the not just the enthusiasm that I've put in to all this, but the dedication that I've got to making something that is what's the word I'm looking for? Oh my god. I suppose it comes down to producing something that is of value. We all know the big changes that are taking place with our Earth right now, and largely these are down to the cosmic rays that are inbound in our atmosphere due to the heliosphere and the weakened magnetic pole as a result of this magnetic reversal that we're in. The weakened magnetosphere as a result of the magnetic reversal that we're in. And it has been a lot of hard work for me. I've threw myself completely into this for you guys, and as a result we've had things like this. Our superstars will be familiar with this box. This has got a little Arduino in there, a little SD card, and it takes a reading of the magnetic field in that region where they are every 15 minutes, and our superstars send it back to the UK via email. We process it and put it up onto the website. Another thing that we've built are these little critters. These are our muon detectors. I know all the lighting is completely wrong, and I'm trying to work on this, as well as give an interesting background. By the way, that's NASA. I think it was during the shuttle missions. This is one of their command centers for that. But this is one of the little beasts that we built. This is our muon detector. You can see on the top there the silicon photon multiplier, which is probably the most dearest component on board this. But I know you can't appreciate it because of the poor lighting, but there is quite a few. I'm hoping if I get it close enough you will see. It looks just terrible, but there's probably around about 60 components on board that little breakout board, and on top of that there's a small Arduino. But you know, this is just some of the things that we've built for, you know, the benefit of you guys. Another one was our, which is just coming on, it's just booting up. That's our oxygen sensor with a purge valve, so that you just pump it a couple of times, and through these straws you will instantly drag in, you know, oxygen levels. And the good thing about this is we can connect other pipes to it, so we can probe things that we know is losing oxygen or is gaining oxygen. Again, using state-of-the-art technology, as you know, with these silicon photo multipliers. You know, this silicon photo multiplier is the biggest one on the market and is the latest one on the market, and that's what we use to detect our muons every week that we do now on the channel. So, you know, we're still working on trying to get a little bit more professional with the studio lighting, and, you know, making it a bit more viewable for you guys, in the respect that there's not just me talking and showing diagrams, and that we can use this OBS software for quite a lot of things. You know, when I want to talk about charts and things like that, I can bring them in on the OBS and you can see them on the green screen behind me. So, you know, it really is just a testament just to a few people that have shared my enthusiasm and, you know, was willing enough to chip in a few bucks and keep us supported. You know, it's down to you guys really that we're here where we are. And, you know, I am going to try and get to grips with all this new stuff that we're doing right now, and, you know, get back down to, you know, work. I mean, we're ahead of the game at the moment. You know, we've probably got some more data coming in from our stations based around the world over the next week or so. You know, on the 17th of next month we'll pull in the SD cards and taking a reading of where the latest magnetic north pole position is on that day, and, you know, monitoring this situation. At the end of the day, you know, I just want to say, you know, we're not going anywhere at the moment as long as we keep being supported by you guys out there, the general public, and we will keep you know, the authorities and other organisations hopefully off our back. And, you know, failing that, we always have the website to fall back on. Now, I will say, you know, we talk about a few other objects or topics on this channel on YouTube, but I have kept the website free from all the other stuff and just kept it dedicated to the anomalies that you can, you know, the earthly anomalies that are taking place right now. Like if you want to see live volcanic eruptions, we have that updated every day on the website, just like the solar activity, the Schumann frequency. We've got data coming in from other neutron observatories, you know, around the world, as well as you know, the Trimag data and the magnetosphere data and the maverickstar global collection of data as well. So yeah, you know, right now I think I'm starting to come to the surface with learning OBS. It's been a big learning curve for me, and, you know, I'm glad that I'm starting to get a little bit more familiar with it. We've got a 4K video camera coming next week at some point, so the visual part of this should improve. And when we've tweaked about with the lighting at the moment that we've got, I'm sure we can have, you know, a pretty respectful content to show people and hopefully encourage them more into the topic. It's a serious topic as far as I'm concerned. I don't think that mankind has ever been faced with possibly what he is about to be faced with in the coming years. And, you know, now more than ever, I think a little bit more effort needs to be put in. I do really feel like I've hit the wall. If you're familiar with running, you know, I used to run, you know, probably 5-6 miles every other day. And if you're familiar with running, you, after that first mile and a half, you start to hit a wall. But if you go past that little bit, you start to, you know, get your second breath, is what runners call it, and you're able to carry on and finish the run. And that's where I feel right now. I feel like I've just caught my second breath at this point, and I'm ready to, you know, push it a little bit further and, you know, do what is ever necessary to get the information that we need to give us a heads up on what's coming in the near future. So I just wanted to give you just keep you informed basically of what we're doing at the moment, and more than anything, thank our patrons, our superstars that have got the magnetometers out there for us, and you guys that support us on Patreon and PayPal. Without you guys, we simply wouldn't be able to afford to do all this, what we do, building this equipment. I could just give you a quick idea. That little chip on there, the silicon photon multiplier, is around about £100 worth, and the reason why it's so dear is because they like to sell 3,000 of these at the time. You can get them down to probably about $40, maybe $30, but you've got to be buying in those quantities, and we're not going to be needing those quantities of 3,000, so that's why they are as dear as what they are, because we're also lucky to be able to be buying them singly to build a magnetometer or a muon detector at the rate we do. But we're equally lucky that I've got the skills to solder some of those components on there. I mean, you literally have to hold them with tweezers and using a magnifying glass, because some of these things are the size of an ant or smaller than an ant, and solder them on them. When we're talking capacitors and various other components that's on that board. It's not easy, requires peace and quiet and some lonely time and just concentration, but it's never stopped us. It's not stopped us accessing the equipment, because I mean, these things at the end of the day cost us about just over £200 to manufacture, but you try and buy a muon detector. I showed you how much a neutron detector was, £4,000 sterling. So we're looking at something with the muon detector, which is looking for a smaller elementary particle, a muon, which is much smaller than a neutron. If you're familiar with elementary particles, you'll know what I'm talking about. So naturally you'd expect that to be a lot more dearer. Some of the other equipment we've got, like the basics, radiation detector for gamma and beta particles. We've also got what we use every Wednesday, our CO2 meter, which gives us a reading, as well as other things. Gives us the humidity. It's got the facility to record on SD cards, so you can process that data. And I know you don't see it, but we're in a room which is almost caving in on itself with the equipment that we've got, and things like 3D printers, so that we can build housings now for our muon detectors and other projects that we've took on. I want to show you guys something else as well. I mean, this is just something that I come up with for COVID-19. This was, I don't know if you was following me on this object. I know it's been bled into the background because of the lighting's not accurate, but basically it's a biological filter with an air pump, which had a tube which would feed it to a visor, these plastic visors that you see a lot of people walking around with. But some of these things are on the back burner. We've got to get them finished. Down here, I know you can't see, we've got the cloud chamber. And we also have that other one on the back burner, which I promised the patrons, which would be coming hopefully next year. We're going to pull a CO2 laser apart, and we're going to use that CO2 laser to transmit a message, and fulfill on the promise that we give those patrons for joining us. So what you've got to remember is at this place here, the observatory, it's just me and a lot of equipment, and most of the time I'm the one who's doing all these different things. So that's why it's a little bit slow in coming up with what I've promised. But if you followed me over the last 3 years, hopefully you will know that I always deliver on the promises. So it's just a matter of time, but a lot of the time it's down to money and funding. So I take nothing away from those guys that have helped us get where we are. I thank them, as well as I know a lot of you guys do. And I'll just mention briefly the link down there where you can support what we do at the observatory. You know, we're trying to do a lot more than what we are at the moment, but it's not always possible, it's not always easy, but you know, the dedication to this has, from my part, never ceased. And you know, those guys that are helping us out in the field with their magnetometers is likewise. You know, guys, we should be thankful we are where we are, and you know, we're very lucky to be doing what we're doing at the moment. So, you know, have an amazing time this evening. You know, I'll continue tweaking up all these little things here at the observatory so that, you know, the appearance of these videos become more professional. And yeah, big thanks, that's all I can say. And if you want to support us, links down there as well. Guys, have an amazing evening, look after your loved ones, and I'll say what I usually do. Bye for now.